Dang, I should have put on my Doug Williams jersey for this. It's all good. So what's going on, folks? Welcome to another one of our NFC preseason preview videos. And today we're talking about the NFC South. And with me, I have none other than our man, Chad. What's going on, Chad?
What's going on? Let's do this.
Let's go. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's start with Ace's favorite team, the team out of New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints. Oh my goodness, that is not supposed to happen. Not like that. Let's reverse that ticker. Let's do this right here.
Set it down there.
I know. I messed that one up, man. I messed up.
I'm looking in the wrong direction, my bad.
New Orleans Saints. So last year this team went 9-8, finished second in the NFC South. They added Chase Young. They lost James Hurst. They drafted Spencer Rattler and Kool-Aid McKinstry and Talese Fuago. Not a bad set of draft picks, honestly. So I'm coming out right the gate with it.
Wow, what a question. First of all, that was a good pronunciation on that guy's name. I don't know how to do that. Do you practice that? You definitely practice that.
I promise you that was right, all natural.
All right. How long until Carr is benched for Rattler? Give me like 2-3 years. I'm sorry, that is not going to happen. Not in my book. Maybe other people and Saints fans might feel different, but I don't think that's going to happen.
There are Saints fans that feel different, and
I'm sure, but not Spencer Rattler is. It's a little too early for that.
Yeah, honestly, I think we need to see the guy in preseason first with live bullets. Honestly.
Okay, I was exaggerating a little. I'll say 1 to 2 years. Not this year.
Fair statement.
Maybe I'll bet with someone that we won't see him this year unless there's an injury or something, or there's like a blowout. I might bet that. But
fair assessment.
But even with that said, Derek Carr, he's all right. People hate on him, and I understand why, but he's all right. I'll keep saying he's all right. That's really all I got. He's all right. Sometimes he can be all right. They still have Kamara. They still have Olave. Shaheed's doing good. So virtually this is basically the same offense when you look at it on paper. And then even when you look at it on paper, I mean, you looked at the additions and subtractions you had. You had one person leave, one person join. And then so it's kind of a similar team to last year, which is kind of like they're going to let's run it back, I guess. And did they have any coaching changes? I don't recall if there's been any coaching changes either.
I don't think so, and I think that's what's got a couple of Saints fans pissed off.
Yeah. I think people have always wanted Carmichael gone, so that hasn't happened yet. So
more than you know.
Yeah, so you look at this team, it's pretty similar, but you like the draft. I said that was one of the things that I do when I judge a team. I like that left tackle they drafted, and I do like where did he go? Kool-Aid McKinstry. Obviously, I'm a Bama fan, so I do think he's good. I do think Terrion Arnold's better, but Kool-Aid is still a good pick.
Really?
Yeah. Terrion Arnold's better. That's why he got drafted before him.
Okay. It's like your word for it. You're the Alabama fan here.
Yeah. Kool-Aid was kind of known at first, but then Terrion Arnold took off at the end. But I like this Saints team. The NFC South right now is kind of a toss-up. We can say that for the past 3 years. Even though the Bucs have won every time, I still think it's a toss-up. I think the Saints are going to be in the running. I think the Falcons are going to be in the running. The Bucs are going to be in the running. So I'm not really clear on my prediction here, but they'll be around. They might beat the Bucs once. They might beat the Bucs twice. Maybe they'll win maybe they'll sneak into the playoffs. They still have Tyrann Mathieu, Marshall, and Lattimore, so we'll see what happens. Cameron Jordan, though, I'm not going to mention him. Other than that.
Also, this is the other one. Can they rely on Jamal Williams in the tandem with Kamara, because honestly, Jamal Williams, he was super hyped about going there, and then was a dud. So I mean, hopefully maybe year 2 is a little bit better to him.
The answer is no. Sorry, Jamal Williams. You should have left. Dynasty fantasy players know that Kendre Miller is on the way. TCU running back, former TCU running back, first running back they picked last year in the draft. I was going to say in the draft, but that's not true. He's going to be good, Kendre Miller, and he's going to start taking those touches away, unfortunately.
I could see it. I think, honestly, at this point now, I think that's why the Packers and the Lions moved on. I think Jamal Williams is I think it's done.
Jamal Williams' shelf life is expiring, but we do still have those great, nice memes for him. So thank you.
So this is the final question before we move on. Will this be another year of regression for the Saints?
That's a good question. It's a mysterious team. I think we could. What were they last year? What was the record last year?
9-8.
9-8. It'll be 9-8 or 8-9. So whatever you want to say about that, that's what I think. I think that's going to be kind of like they're here. They're just going to go a little bit forward, a little bit back, a little bit forward, a little bit back until there's a big change.
I would agree with that. Oh, wow, you got a little bit darker there.
Yeah.
All right. That's better. All right. So with that now, I guess we can slide on over to the Atlanta Falcons, who last year they were 7-10. Added Kirk Cousins, Kevin King, and Ray McLeod III, who was a Tampa product. No, they couldn't find any departures. They drafted. They lost Calais Campbell, I believe. Right? Or not Calais Campbell. Was it Calais Campbell?
Well, he's not there anymore, but I don't know if he left last year or the year before.
Yeah, I think he left I think last year or the year before, I think. Also, they drafted Michael Penix, Braylon Trice, and Chase McClellan out of Alabama. So another Bama guy.
Yes.
In Atlanta again. So, of course, it comes with first question right out of the gate. Is Kirk Cousins the best QB in this division?
Yes. Yes, he is.
That's bold of you to say.
Yes, I mean, let's just look at this objectively. I mean, if you look at it objectively, you're going to tell me that Kirk Cousins has a 1-6 playoff record, and then you're going to tell me that Baker Mayfield is 2-2 or something like that, and playoff record is a team stat, and
that's true.
I just think Kirk is a little bit more experienced, and I think he's a little bit more accurate. Sometimes he's not accurate, though. I mean, being a quarterback is just like kind of you have your off days. Sometimes you're not accurate. Sometimes you are accurate. I think Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins are kind of like really close. Sometimes Kirk Cousins might have a better day than Mayfield, and vice versa. But if I'm going to pick one right now, I'll pick Kirk Cousins. But then again, he got injured, so I'll still go with Cousins, though. I like Kirk Cousins, so I thought that was a really good signing for him to come to Atlanta, and I like the cast he has. He has London, Mooney, Moore, Robinson, Algier, McClellan, Pitts. Yeah. So I think Kirk Cousins should have some room to succeed now if his O-line is good. O-line has been relatively the same around there in Atlanta for a while, so I guess that's good to have some longevity there. And then look at the defense. Defense is all right at best. I like Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell, but other than that, I don't really see anything that's like.
Yeah, no. Atlanta was at their best when they had a good defense, honestly.
Yeah, long ago, and I do like Atlanta. Like I said, though, they're going to be in this division, and you asked me earlier. What was it? It was a question that. Oh yeah, how long until we see Penix is what you asked me. I remember that question. And
there it is.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
I said earlier with Spencer Rattler and Derek Carr, but I mean, I guess we have another situation here because it kind of pissed off Kirk Cousins when they drafted Penix. So I mean, people are saying it won't be long.
Yeah. So Kirk Cousins was like a win now signing, and then they had a win later draft with Penix. And then who else did they draft? It's kind of like, well, this doesn't really help us now.
Jason
Thing.
McClellan, Braylon Trice.
Yeah, Jace McClellan is kind of like, that doesn't really help us right now. I mean, it does help us now, but like it's going to help more later.
I was like, Tyler Algier still, so they have like 3 running backs.
Yeah. And then you said Trice. That's a good. I do like that pick. He should be able to find some playing time. When you look at their linebackers, they have Troy Anderson, Lorenzo Carter, Caden Ellis, and some guy named Arnold. I'm not even going to pronounce that name. It's a hard name to pronounce.
I think the Lorenzo Carter move because that the UGA right there, that's a good move.
Yeah. So I think him and Braylon Trice could be a good at linebacker and edge, but more of these draft pieces they've had like throughout the years have kind of been like not immediate impact. The Kyle Pitts unfortunately hasn't been immediate impact.
Right.
So it's gonna be a little bit till we see Michael Penix, but I think we're gonna see Penix before we see Rattler, and that just might be because of injury. Unfortunately.
I would agree with that statement.
Kirk Cousins might get injured or something again, and we might see Penix, but Penix isn't too bad. He's going to have his learning curves, obviously, but I really liked Penix coming out of college and coming out of Tampa here in high school. Really accurate, really good gunslinger, and he might be able to thrive in this offense when his time comes.
I agree. One last question regarding Atlanta before we move on. Are they a dark horse to win the South?
Yes, they are a dark horse to win the South, but there's really no favorite. So is there really a dark horse? I would say it's either the Saints, Bucs, or Panthers. They're all dark horses.
Panthers, no, but the other 3, yeah.
Did I say Panthers? I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say Bucs. My bad.
I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, my bad.
And speaking of the Bucs, that now takes us to the Bucs. The Bucs who went 9-8 last year and won the NFC South. Beat Philadelphia to death in that wild card round, and then came up short in the division round against Detroit in a heck of a matchup. They brought back Jordan Whitehead, added Sterling Shepard to a talented wide receiver room to help Baker Mayfield out, added Randy Gregory, brought in new OC Liam Cohn. They lost Dave Canales, who is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. God help him. Lost Devin White. Got rid of Ryan Neal for a lack of production. Got rid of Carlton Davis. And also they released Shaq Barrett. He's down in Miami now. They drafted Graham Barton, Jalen McMillan, Bucky Irvin, Chris Braswell out of Alabama, and Tyke Smith out of Georgia, as well as David Culp, who's their tight end now out of Washington. I like what they did, man. I really do. Jason Light once again, keeping the ace up his sleeve here, and I think being one step ahead of the competition. Also, not to mention, they had an undrafted linebacker out of Florida State, Kalen DeLoach, who I can't help but think when Levante David does retire is the backup plan or the answer. So we'll go right into it with you. How big of a jump does Baker Mayfield make in year 2?
I'm not sure, man. As we said about Baker Mayfield, and as I said, I think he's kind of like on par with Kirk Cousins. So I think I don't know if he's gonna do fantastic, so much better. Mm-hmm. He might do a little bit better, might be a little bit worse, but I think what we saw last year, which was solid play, very solid play. It was I don't know, was it 28 touchdowns, maybe 12 interceptions? I'm just spitballing here.
Probably 21 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
Yeah, so something like that. But it was a good ratio, is what we know. And then he had a good bit of yards and touchdowns. Nothing crazy, like I said, but it's serviceable.
Yeah.
So how big of a jump will Baker Mayfield make in year 2? I don't know. It's a new offense. It's a new offensive coordinator now, and he
So,
got his groove going. And now Dave Canales is like, I'm going to go to Carolina, which is something I want to talk about. We'll have time for that, but
so
not sure how big that jump will be.
the interesting thing about the Liam Cohn pickup was Liam Cohn was Baker's offensive coordinator in LA, and Baker personally, mutually like came to an agreement with Liam to bring him here to Tampa. And everybody's been saying this is going to be good for Baker. This is going to be excellent for Baker. Baker, he seemed to be like back on the rise again, getting to Liam Cohn's offense and stuff. So I'd like now to see what they can do with a full off season together versus just a few weeks together when he was in LA. So I like this move
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, he had like one of a really good point of his career in LA, so can't argue with that. So I wasn't aware about that. I guess I was aware. I just kind of didn't realize that I forgot about him being in LA. So maybe he will make it. Excuse me. Maybe he will make a jump in year 2.
Breathe. Don't die.
Thank you. Maybe he will make a jump in year 2.
Yeah. I'd like to see him do it. Honestly, if I will say, if there's any quarterback that reminds me of Brett Favre's play on the field, without minus like the entirety of risk taking, it's Baker. Something about him just reminds me of Brett Favre.
I used to think Jameis Winston was the risk-taking part of Favre.
Yes, he was like the dumb decision part of Brett Favre. This is like the smart side of Brett Favre. It's crazy. And then in between both of them, we had Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's crazy. So one last question. Not one last question. That was the first one. Ooh. Yeah, well, how much better can this defense be after a strong finish last year? Despite giving up 31 in that playoff game in Detroit, they still showed that they were one of the best.
That's not bad. Detroit's good. 31 ain't that bad. But I really like this defense. I really, really do like this defense. And sure, I am biased, but Kalijah Kancey, up and coming defensive end, being a longtime staple, rock of the offense, the boulder, the foundation. And then Logan Hall has been a little bit shaky to start his career. I'm really, really rooting for him because he's a first-round talent we drafted. Really want him to kind of develop more.
I think.
But then you also have Yaya Diaby, who's been good. He had a great rookie year last year, considering he was like a 4th or 5th round pick. Randy Gregory, longtime veteran. Will Golston, longtime veteran. And then you remember that Devin White is gone, so you're kind of like, who's going to help Lavonte David out there? KJ been in the system for a while, so I think we can trust him. And then, like you said, Kalen DeLocke and also Sebastian Dennis. Hopefully, it can pan out.
Yeah, they're going to have their options. A lot of those guys are going to see play time. So defensively, I trust Todd Bowles. As a head coach, I have my questions. Plus, there's a question of how much longer will Todd Bowles coach because he's getting up there in age, and he's also expressed interest in wanting to see his son play because his son's a current linebacker, I believe, at University of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be an interesting development of how long that goes.
I've had an arc with Todd Bowles where I really have never trusted him, but I'm starting to trust him more on defense, like you said. But I also never get over the dumb decisions like the Rams and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
So you look at the defense, and I really like the front seven, but the secondary is my question mark. Other than Winfield and Whitehead, I think we have to really, really hope Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum can hold down the fort at the corner.
Honestly, oh my gosh, I forgot. They also brought in another corner. I'm drawing a blank on his name. They also from the Jets.
Oh, Bryce Hall.
Yeah, they also brought in Bryce Hall, and I also think that kid Tyke Smith out of Georgia is gonna be another kid that's gonna be an immediate starter. possibly, immediate plug and play guy. Because I mean, he flies up the field, he'll come in and hit you.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like I'm a little bit clouded with bias when I talk about our like third, fourth round picks because like you'll hear an Eagles fan talk about their third, fourth round pick the same way. So
that's also true.
But I objectively think Tyke Smith is good. He went to Georgia. He had a lot of tackles. He like led the team. So I hope Tyke Smith can do good. That's gonna be a good battle of Christian Izzian. I do think Tyke should be able to win that.
Oh yeah, that's another guy too, Christian Izzian.
Yeah, he should be able to win that battle.
Yeah, I'm forgetting all about him.
So there's actually some good battles going on in camp. There's going to be Chris Braswell versus Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. I think Joe Tryon's going to win just because he's been there for 4 years, and that would be kind of awkward if he didn't. But you also have KJ Britt, Servacio Dennis, Kalen DeLocke. That's kind of a battle. Mm-hmm. And then you also have see if Randy Gregory, see if he can fight for playing time. So I do like this defense a lot, and I think they could four-peat in the NFC South, but it's really just a coin flip at this point.
Yeah.
And heck, how well Baker Mayfield does. It's a coin flip on that.
I agree. And that takes us to our last team in the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers, who I think, they will have the worst record not the worst, but the second worst record in football. At 2-15, Dave Canales comes in there as their new head coach. They also added Jadeveon Clowney. So I guess it's like a pass rusher's paradise coming to the NFC South. And then also I need to switch that over. There we go. Yeah, they also had David Moore, Kayvon Chason, and Deontay Johnson comes down from Pittsburgh. So it makes for an interesting product. First question is, right out the gate is this. Oh, well, my bad. Hold on. They also lost Brian Burns. They lost Brian Burns. They lost Frank Wright, who got fired, Von Bell, and Hayden Hurst. Funny enough, Frank Wright got fired after 1 year. They drafted Xavier Leggett, Jonathan Brooks, and Trevin Wallace. So right out the gate, let's talk about it.
Well, this is the team I was the most excited to talk about, believe it or not. I mean, you have Dave Canales, who was like kind of like a question mark at first to being hired by the Bucs. Everyone's like, okay, we're gonna hire him. He's kind of been like an assistant to Pete Carroll this whole life.
Yeah.
So then we take him on, and he has his good, but he also had his bad. He was in the hot seat at one point last season.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of easy for Bucs fans to hand someone the hot seat, but now he's the coach of the Carolina Panthers, who we all know is a dumpster fire of an organization. This guy has like minuscule head coaching experience, and he's taking on a team of Bryce Young, who is a good quarterback. It's just not a good team around him. I wonder how this team is going to do, because you look at the team and it's kind of like those posts on social media where you can construct a team. You have $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. And it's like just like all of the $2 or like all of the $3 on, maybe like all of the $2 on a team right here. Mm-hmm. So like it's a team, serviceable. They'll play for you, but will this team win a lot of games? I'm not sure about that.
I'm glad you said that. I'm going to rock and hard place between the two questions that are coming next. Well, let's ask this one first. Is Dave Canales prepared to be a head coach?
Objectively, I don't think he is. I mean, there's so much experience and like things you need to like learn, and just like things like that. Yeah, ebbs and flows of the game that don't come so fast. So it's going to be hard to do that all immediately. But I mean, it could happen. I mean, I'm sure he has head coaching experience like in college or something. I haven't looked at his actual. Let me just make sure. Because like if this is your first time gig, look, he's been a coordinator This is his first time ever being a head coach, so it's gonna be tough. For sure.
Yeah, see, and then you're doing it in a place like Carolina. This is going to be his biggest test yet, personally.
Bro just wanted a payday.
Probably that's kind of what I'm starting to feel like. That's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, "I'm ready. Let's ride Tampa," and then he's like, "I'm ready. Let's ride Carolina."
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, man.
Carolina fired Frank Wright after 1 year.
So let's review this roster. We have a up and coming quarterback. We have a decent running back room. Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks, good pick. You have a decent wide receiver room, like I said, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen. Those are actually like really good fits for Bryce Young. Those are like target hogs. We'll check it down there. We'll be there. 2 safety cushions for Bryce Young. So I do like the picks, but like when you look at it from like a grand scheme of NFL offenses, it's kind of like the $2 to $3 offense. But then you look at the defense, and the defense is kind of like, I don't really know any of these guys other than J.C. Horn, and that's like if you're a casual NFL fan.
Yeah. I like the Xavier Leggett draft pick. He's like that. You can't get any more Carolina than Xavier Leggett.
Love that pick. I mean, that guy, it's like the accent is speaking in run-on sentence. It's like all one sentence.
And it's like, and that's the guy that like you love playing for your franchise because like he actually really wants to be there, and he's like Carolina born and bred.
Yeah, a lot of funny videos that are coming out, but even like all the stuff we don't see on camera, that's a good locker room presence. Looks like a good character, so should help. Help for sure.
And then one final question for Carolina. So what's holding Carolina back from really getting to where they want to go? You feel?
I don't know. I mean, I can really compare the Panthers to the Giants, which we talked about in a different video.
Mm-hmm.
Giants and the Panthers are kind of just like you're like having a franchise and you're just like having like a big long rebuild. And it's kind of like you need to have like 3 good drafts in a row to like actually get going. Because like I just said, I looked at the Panthers, their defense is all right at best. Their offense is all right at best. They need to still fill many positions. They can use a better defensive end, nose tackle, linebacker, inside linebacker, edge rusher. I could go on. So what's holding Carolina back? There's a lot of things holding Carolina back, and it even might be coaching too.
I think it's ownership.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said that too. Ownership. It's ownership, coaching, and roster. Sorry, Carolina.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and go my predicted order of finish for this team or for this division. I'm going Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina. I think Carolina gets get 5 this year. 5 or 6. It's not enough to get them out of the dungeon. I think I'm going to go I think I'm going to go New Orleans, maybe winning like 7 or 8. I think Atlanta maybe wins 9. And I think the Bucs will hit 11.
Oh. Okay, so I'm going same in actual placement. Bucs first, but I'm going to go Bucs like 9-10. Falcons second, I'm also going to go like 9-10. And then third, Saints, I'll go 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
And then Panthers, I thought I was going to be unique saying the Panthers were going to win like 5 games, but I also think that too. I do like the Panthers. Like, I'm rooting for Bryce Young, so this kind of is wishful thinking, but I think maybe he can win 4 to 5 games, hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got Alabama guys all over this division that you can just root for now.
Yeah, there's a lot. But I think Bryce Young is going to have to wait another year to actually get going. I just hope it's not a lot of running around and getting sacked for him like it was last year.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But it's going to be a good division. It's going to be a race to get the final, to get the 4 seed in the playoffs, which is going to end up being like a 9-8 team per usual.
Yeah, no, I agree. That second place NFC South team is going to be possibly fighting for it. We'll see. It depends on how the other divisions turn out.
Yeah, it's going to end up being us. It's going to be the winner of this division versus what we said in our last video, whoever doesn't come out on top of the NFC East. And that team might probably end up beating that team. It's kind of like the situation of where we're at right now at the NFC South, where we're just going to be fighting for the division, get 4 seed, and then probably be outmatched.
Yeah. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of our NFC or NFL preseason previews. We hope you've enjoyed this one as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Also, thank you, Chad, for joining me on this one.
Thank you for having me. Go Bucks.
You know it, man. 4P incoming.
No bias in what we said either.
Yeah, no, yeah, literally. Yeah, that's no bias included because last year, we picked Atlanta.
And they almost had it with Ritter.
Yeah. So, hey, we'll see what happens this time around. But yeah, folks, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you on the next video.
Peace.